Morning, everybody. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Sean Johnson from the North Dakota Wing of the Civil Air Patrol. We're honored to host this ceremony for you today. I want to welcome you to the North Dakota Veterans Cemetery for this year's Wreaths Across America ceremony. At this moment, we join with millions of Americans at more than 4,600 locations across the country and abroad to honor our veterans and ensure their memory is preserved forever. I would like to call on Chaplain Captain Mary Beth Bowles, our wing chaplain, to lead us in an opening prayer.
Good morning. If you so choose, join me in this morning's invocation. Our gracious God, we are here with grateful hearts to do the important and sacred work of remembering the fallen, honoring those who serve, and teaching the next generation the value of freedom. We do not take lightly that gift of freedom. God, represented here are families and communities and generations of those who have sacrificed and chosen to put others before themselves. So I ask this season that you would show us how to comfort those who grieve, celebrate with those who rejoice, and to live each day with gratitude. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. And now I'd like you all to please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. The flag is in the middle of the cemetery grounds, behind you for most of you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Today, we gather as one community to participate in Wreaths Across America, a ceremony that embodies three powerful words: remember, honor, and teach. We remember the fallen, those who gave their lives to ensure the freedoms we hold dear. We honor those who have served and continue to serve in our armed forces, placing duty above self. And we teach future generations about the true cost of freedom, so that they too understand the debt we owe to those who stood in harm's way on our behalf, or who stood by ready with the call to do so. For example, we owe such a debt to Master Sergeant Woodrow Keeble of the Sisseton Oyate Nation, who is North Dakota's first Native American Medal of Honor recipient. On October 20th, 1951, he demonstrated extraordinary heroism during the assault on Hill 765 in Korea. Advancing alone under intense fire, he destroyed 3 heavily fortified enemy positions with grenades, allowing his unit to regain momentum and secure the hill. Keeble's actions saved countless lives that day, yet like so many veterans, he returned home quietly without seeking recognition. His humility was as profound as his courage, and that is a trait so many veterans share. As President John Kennedy said, a nation reveals itself by those it honors and remembers. It is not just words, but actions that ensures we honor and remember the sacrifice of our veterans, so neither is forgotten. We will now begin the ceremonial wreath placements in honor of the veterans of our service branches and POW MIA service members. Sergeant Terry Dunford Forstingson will place the Army wreath to honor the brave men and women of the Army, Army National Guard, and Army Reserve. Corporal Scott Steiner will place the Marine Corps wreath to honor the brave men and women of the Marine Corps and Marine Corps Reserve. Petty Officer, 3rd Class, Nathan Jensen, will place the Navy wreath to honor the brave men and women of the Navy and Navy Reserve. Senior Master Sergeant Todd Harvey will place the Air Force wreath to honor the brave men and women of the Air Force, the Air National Guard, and the Air Force Reserve. Cadet Colonel P.J. Fleckenstein will place the Space Force wreath to honor the brave men and women of our newest military service, the Space Force. Cadet Captain Micah L. will place the Coast Guard wreath to honor the brave men and women of the Coast Guard and Coast Guard Reserve. Cadet Lieutenant Joshua Unruh will place a wreath to remember the vital role thousands of merchant mariners played during World War II and other conflicts. And finally, Army Sergeant Willard Saylor will place a wreath for over 81,000 Americans whose last known status was prisoner of war or missing in action. Their sacrifice is not forgotten. Their families wait for answers. Their stories remain incomplete. We honor them by pledging that they will never be forgotten. As we reflect on the price of freedom, we must also consider it has an ongoing cost. For some veterans, the battles don't end when they come home. Each day, an estimated 22 veterans take their own lives. Action is needed from all of us to address this ongoing cost of freedom. Actions as simple as a kind word and a compassionate ear can make all the difference for a struggling veteran. We must also care for the families, friends, and comrades in arms of those veterans lost to suicide, offering our compassion and our support. In either case, what is asked of us is small, but it can save lives and help those left behind heal and grow strong around the holes in their hearts, which will never be filled again. As President Ronald Reagan reminded us, freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. His words challenge us to actively preserve that freedom. Today, we take action by laying these wreaths to symbolize our pledge to never let the sacrifices of our veterans fade into history. Through this act, we honor their memory and reaffirm our commitment to uphold the values for which they fought. Thank you again for joining us today. May we all leave here inspired to live lives worthy of the sacrifices made by our veterans. This concludes the ceremony, and at this point we'll transition to placing wreaths at the individual grave sites. Again, we ask those that came here to place a specific wreath on a specific grave. We'll let you go first for the first 10 minutes. I'll let you all know when that 10 minutes is up, and then everybody else can go to the various trailers. Thank you again for being here.